Welcome back to Moon's Rebirth. This will be the second season of this series. This will be session one, titled Broken Promises. During the end of the last arc, the group met on top of Mount Barcus and found a dead dragon and two individuals who looked like they were different, to say the least. One was familiar, but dressed and adorned in different armor. They engaged these individuals and very quickly came to realize that they weren't going to come out of this fight alive or with the weapon, which was requested by these two at the beginning of the fight. As Isaac was about to throw in the towel and pass off the sword so that he could spare the lives of his friends, Ithel's form broke, and the deity Stasia entered into the scene in her place, combating the two and using Isaac as a focus to allow her to kind of operate through the sword and upon these individuals. After the fight concluded, they switched back, Ithel now becoming manifest again, and they looted the dragon's hoard and found the item that they were looking for, which would be allowed or be used to help reactivate the teleportation circle back at the castle. You've all boarded the ship with all of the gear and stuff that you've found, and have spent the last couple of days traveling, not really, full throttling it, just taking a bit of time to reflect as you sail across the sky, and also learn a bit more about the ship in question. So I didn't get a chance to put up an item card for the ship in question, so I'll just tell you, Kevin, a couple of things about it that you've learned. First off, the elemental weird, she has an elemental charge, which basically counts as kind of a resource for you. And you can use it to do one of three specific things. You've seen it manifest on another ship when it was used to basically teleport the ship. Not really teleport, but move faster than the wind to a different location. So you've seen that operation for the ship. Another operation for the ship that you can use that'll expend the elemental charge for the day cloaks the ship so that it cannot be seen. This is something you haven't seen the ships do, but based on what the elemental weird has explained to you, if you cloak it, it would be cloaked for an entire hour. And it can still move, but obviously not at its full tilt because the elemental charge will have been expended. And lastly, the spell cannons can be overcharged and be used to fire more devastating shots if you use your elemental charge for that. So you have an offensive, a kind of defensive with the disappearing act, and just speed with the elemental charge. So you understand these three functions, correct?
Yeah, do I have to be on the ship to make?
You have to be in the zone with her to make them go. You do not have to stay there if you could created an operation. So if you make the ship cloaked, you can leave the ship.
But I have to be aboard the ship to enter that state. I can't be somewhere else.
Correct.
Do I think I could maybe achieve that one day?
You're probably kind of thinking in your head that illusion magic may not have been the school you want for far-reaching teleportation magic or being able to operate stuff at a distance. So you're thinking to yourself the next time you get in front of a library, you might spend some time looking at conjuration magic as an aside.
Cool.
You also all should have noted that I posted maps of the interior of the ship, with the exception of the below deck and the above deck, which I'm still working on, looking and trying to find an operations map. So you have the main cargo locations, which are close to the air reserves for the ship, where the air elementals are basically kind of stationed inside of the wood and metal of the ship. There's also a couple of beds available in that forward section, and those are triple bunk beds, by the way. beds in the front portion there. You've seen the spell core, and you would know that the netted kind of glowing aura of it, Lazarus. If you were to kind of reach in, you could pull out the core itself, which is basically just kind of a gemstone of a decent size, which acts as kind of a soul stone for the elemental weird, or a connection point for her to this world. And then the mast, which I had mentioned before, it's not really a mast, it's more of just kind of an iron cylinder on the center of the ship. And that's actually where she operates and her demi-plane operates. So when you manifest Lazarus through the orrery or jammer into speak to her, that's basically what you're doing, is you're entering into that small demi-plane that's kind of a connection between the material and the air elemental or elemental chaos. Done talking to you about cool stuff. I've already mentioned some stuff to Ithel, which she's probably been dealing with throughout the last couple of days on your journey. Obviously, Isaac, I don't think I posted to you on the side, but I will tell you now. In your handouts, you should have an item card for the Moon's Blade, also known as Thorn's Moon Blade, and it should tell you what its statistics are. I haven't applied them to your character sheet, if you would go ahead and do so now. But for those who are casually curious, the Moonblade can connect the runestones as mentioned, and while you have it, you can activate the runestones as you would normally be able to if you had it. Additionally, the item gives a plus bonus to attack equal to half his proficiency, and a bonus to damage equal to his proficiency. In the magic items that you found, there were a couple of items of import. I don't know if those were sorted out through... Oh, hold on a second.
Oh, rounded down. Sad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Oh, sad boy.
What are you gonna do? So my question was... oh, you totally threw me off my track.
Magic items?
Adamantine breastplate. There's the sword that is very powerful and you cannot identify. There is another sword, rapier, which you've learned is a rapier of warning.
Yeah, real quick. We went over that just quickly last time.
Okay.
When I walked out of there by myself, the breastplate and the sword were dropped on the ground. Everything else I pocketed well inside.
Okay. The rapier, by the way, it's just a rapier of warning. So it seems to function...
I think I already got it added.
Okay. It seems to function off of, as you're kind of inspecting it, I believe they kind of deal with... Let me double check.
In the chat, I posted what I copy pasted onto it.
No, sure. I just know that I'm trying to remember. Again, a lot of additions bleed in my head. Is it any enemy within a distance, or is it a certain creature type?
Advantage on initiative rolls. In addition, you and any companions within 30 feet of you can't be surprised except when incapacitated by something other than non-magical sleep.
Got it.
Weapon magically awakens you and your companions within range if any of you are sleeping naturally when combat begins.
Got it. Okay. Cool. So then you have that, is what you said?
Yeah, that is on my person.
Okay. And then the adamantine armor and the super sword is left behind.
With the rapier warning, how does it warn us?
So it can be, I'd say this one would be kind of a glowing and a ringing. So it glows green, the blade kind of glows green, and it kind of hums loudly.
So it's like Sting.
Is it an audible ring, or is it
no.
a head ring?
It'll be kind of like, the best way I can kind of describe it is like when, in horror movies, when it starts to kind of the music starts to kind of just fill one note and kind of you know something's about to happen. Basically, the sword would do the same.
Is there a way to stop the sound when it starts?
I would assume upon drawing it.
But I don't want to draw it.
Okay, then just a quick drop like this would be fine.
Grabbing it.
Give it an old one of those.
Jerk it. Got it.
Yeah.
Calm it down.
Okay, whoa. Moving on from sword surbation. I think I have everyone covered. Does anybody have any questions for me specifically? Is the runestone for the luck runestone still on the sword, or has it been removed and returned back to Dink?
No, all stones that are in our possession are attached to the sword.
Dragon Rend and Fortune, okay.
I promised to Dink I'd give it back to him when when we're done saving the planet, he can have his lighter back.
Okay. That sounds like an epic. That sounds like a line in an epic movie, by the way.
He's just like, he's perfectly okay with. It's like, okay, fair.
I'm following you guys. That's how it is.
That being all being said, you are above.
All well and good.
You are above the remains, the ruins of the city of Drayans. However, it does look like a lot of work has gone into kind of reestablishing the city, and you can see that the western border of the city, there are throngs of soldiers that appear to have arrived, probably forced march through Stormloft Kingdom to get here. And it does look like there are a lot of different banners kind of flailing off in the wind. You do see that the wreckage on the southern side still kind of remains, but in the nobler section of the city, it looks like a lot of construction work has already kind of begun, and it looks like a lot of people are kind of focusing on repairing that section of the city. You do notice that there are a grouping of golden eagles circling around the fortress, and the flag that's flying over the city, over the keep, is the flag of the King of Stormloft.
How long has it been since the party left Drayans?
So it took you 3 days to get there. You probably only stayed there for about a day. And then it took you about 3.5 days to get back.
Okay.
So
It's
about
like a week.
Roughly a week.
It's a 6 day and a day.
So just a refresher, what was the magic gun that we're using to power the portal? The Gigasword?
This strange short sword, yeah. Which
Cool.
which
Which one was that? What was it called, or did we figure?
yeah.
We could. Did
The
we?
only thing you could, you couldn't identify it. The thing that you could get from that though, the only thing you could get, and I think I gave this last time, I don't recall, but the sword's name is Mythorge.
If I played with it in the 3 days traveling back, would there be any way to see like what it could do?
Again, it's more of a legend lore kind of thing.
Okay.
Like a much stronger spell or an identify from a more powerful caster needs to be used. You can make a Arcana check.
Not my forte, but you know,
Can I just do it?
It appears to run some sort of magic.
What'd you roll?
A 20.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, just you feel like it is very powerful, and something about it, like as you have it, drawn, the sword kind of sings. Like it sounds like as it moves, you can hear kind of a steelish sound, kind of moving through the air as it wisps through it, and it does sound very like orchestral. It sounds very like a musical instrument. But you can't place what it is. It just, something about it has a very musical sound to it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it'll be a good focus. Out of character, I'm gonna be really sad if we're about to disenchant a Vorpal blade to make a portal.
I'd rather go up a Vorpal blade than a fucking sky ship.
Yeah, dude.
I don't believe that we'll need to give anything up, personally. I know we've just been through a lot, but we definitely have to continue this before the others get this, since we know that other people are after the gems as well.
Well, real quick, sorry to interrupt. You would understand from conversation, and this may not have been something that's been relayed to Chody, but they are trying to acquire something that gives enough magical energy that they can use to place into a teleportation circle that was left behind by the Janaran army, so that they can chase their armies, the armies of Eversoul, can chase them back. That's what they were sent off to go do. And so they were initially going to grab the Skyship spell core and use it because it is powerful enough. But because they want to try and keep the ship, they had to find a different artifact, which is the sword in question. Yeah. So I think that was... I
need my ship waifu.
I think that segment of it kind of happened right before, because you were at Netton after the battle there. This is a different city. This is Draen's, where they were heading to right before the last time you'd played. So it got devastated, but they managed to fight back the main peoples.
Honestly, it looks a little better.
Is there anything besides just kind of like when you say playing around with it? This is really important. Like, what are you trying to do with it, Isaac?
Swing it.
Yeah, he couldn't identify with his magic, so instead of like I'm gonna try to do it the more practical way.
You're gonna try
like hit a training dummy, like try to be like what
make
does
an attack
do?
roll.
Yeah. It's D20 plus strength.
Yeah. And proficiency. You're proficient with a short sword.
Alright, I'll just roll one of my, like, whatever out here. 19.
You stab the training dummy. The second you do, the training dummy and like everything within like a good foot or so around the training dummy, except for you, is sucked into the sword. And with your Arcana check, you're able to kind of identify that it doesn't go into the sword. It feels like it was rent or ripped somewhere else, like it was sent somewhere else.
Damn. Black hole sword. Cool. Also extremely dangerous, so yeah.
Again, with your Arcana check being so high, there's a training dummy in this little portion of the that you've kind of set up across the way from you. And something about like the way that you attacked it, you feel like maybe you should try and attack it, but from here. Make another attack roll.
It's got range, son.
18.
You stab into the air, and you watch as the blade disappears into reality and appears lancing through the training dummy's head. You recoil it out of thin air, and the dummy just kind of like its head topples off from this single stab.
Cool.
It feels really, really true in your hands and incredibly sharp.
Damn. Cool. I hope it doesn't get disintegrated when we power the portal, because that's cool.
You have this weird feeling now, like that just comes out of nowhere. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh, it's cursed.
Sentient weapon. I'm sad. Oh, 26. I'm so wise. No one can mess with my mind.
You hear a voice kind of enter into your head, and this kind of will kind of enter into your brain, but you kind of press it back out, but it kind of like water, it stays on the surface instead of like cascading deep into the depths of your mind. And as it kind of lingers there, it says, "What do you mean destroy me?"
What? Who's this? Who's talking?
Why are all
know
of
it's the
your
sword?
fucking weapons talking
You can hear.
to
You don't hear it in your mind. Like, apologies. You feel it try to enter into your brain, like there's a will trying to exert itself. But you hear the sword speak. The singing sound that it emanates changes to kind of sing the question and inquiry.
Oh, no. Well. Destroy you? Hopefully not, but we're going to be having to borrow some of your power to dish out some justice in a couple days. If that's all right with you.
Not at all. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Sir Isaac, Paladin of Ariomand.
I don't understand most of those words. It's been so long since I've been to the air, and you're wasting me on a bag of linens? We have to kill, Isaac. There's so
Whoa.
much we can destroy.
I sheath the sword. I'm like, nope. That's a hard nope.
Well, we can destroy like you. All right.
Yeah.
Hello, Rick.
If that happened, if that was like on the first day I was playing with it, I would make sure to gather everyone and be like, "This sword is evil. We're gonna we're gonna power portal. We're gonna disintegrate it. No, it's a bad sword."
Bad. Smack its
Put it
paw.
with the ship. Take it out.
Give it a
It's-
good.
No one talk to this sword. It's a bad influence.
I didn't
I want to
even.
talk to that sword.
I didn't even realize I had changed from hands-free to push-to-talk, but this is liberating. Anywho, yeah. Where do you keep the sword in the ship?
I don't know. Do we have like a armory or something?
Keep it away from Jan.
Not really.
Oh. Do we have like
Bag
a?
of
Is there,
holding.
or like a? Yeah. What's his face? Wizard Man has a bag of hold. Magic item seems safe with him. I'd let Lazarus take care of it.
Okay. You give the sword to Lazarus.
Yeah, but yeah, I tell him like, don't listen to that sword. It's a bad influence. But I'd put it in the bag of holding, and I wouldn't take it out if I.
You don't draw it or anything, right?
No, I give it to him sheathed.
I was
and,
talking to
like-
Lazarus.
Oh, okay.
I mean, no.
Okay. All
Out
right.
of character, I want to for reasons, but no. Put it in the bag of holding.
Fair enough. Oh, oh shit. Okay. You put it in the bag of holding, and the second you do, you see all of the fabrics of the bag of holding just rend themselves from one another, and you see the dimension space in between just kind of dissipate and kind of pulse black, and then just detonate with a wave of force. Make a Constitution saving throw, Lazarus.
What the fuck?
Never let Isaac do anything.
You're good. You feel like it's throwing you back, not so much sucking you in. You kind of stop for a second and kind of look at all of the items that were in the bag of holding now just splayed out on the ground, and the sword kind of in the middle of that grouping. Make an Arcana check.
Even
Did I
his
lose
good
my
ideas
bag,
are
dude?
bad ideas.
Yeah, bag of holding's
11.
destroyed, sorry.
Wow, Steve!
You know that putting an extra dimensional space inside of an extra dimensional space destroys both spaces,
You're divided by 0.
but the sword isn't really one. And also, typically the result of like a bag of holding and a bag of holding, or a portable hole and a portable hole, is more severe. This one didn't seem, because the sword's still fine, and also the area around you is not broken and destroyed like it should be. You know that one of the biggest no-nos in Magic is don't put a bag of holding in a bag of holding, and that result is similar to what you feared would be the case, but a lot less serious than you thought it would be. All right. So you guys are above drains. Anybody have anything? My stuff is lagging.
John,
Hold on a second. Why am I lagging? There it goes.
You're better now.
It's your
Yeah.
wife. What'd she do?
I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys like to do before you guys descend down? And I did post in the chat, just so you are aware, that there are 3 different types of landing craft. 2 just very the simple ones that you've already used, and then you found that there's a flat panel that drops down and goes back up. And lastly, there is a craft that can independently move away from the ship, but it doesn't go very far, not more than a mile.
Gavin, Scandrayans.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only thing I want to do before we go down.
Okay.
Just do another like magic item scan.
There's nothing that's ringing as like potent. That's artifact level or powerful as the spell core.
When they start talking about going down, I interrupt and tell them that I don't believe that we have time. We have other shards to collect before it's too. I've been studying. I know of some. Of course, we have the one from the demon wearing the crown, and also there's one in the Half-Cut Hills close to Stormloft, and also at the Barrier Peaks to the north. But we need to go after one. We can't.
Oh no, demon wearing a crown wasn't one of the rune stones.
It was a tiefling, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't one of the rune stones. It was a powerful item that could have been used for the purposes that they're investigating.
Yeah.
I am so off. I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's okay. It's been a couple of weeks. I understand.
I know where 2 more stones is. Let's go.
That's what we want to hear.
There's a hidden shrine in the Half-Cut Hills near Stormloft, the capital city, and the Barrier Peaks. There's a mountain present there.
Hey, we're about to rendezvous
I'm down
with King's
for more.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm down for more adventures, but yeah, we have to go down and talk to this king and do the portal, save. Like that was the OG plan.
Out of character, you were kind of thrust upon with a responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
You
I'm not
have
just gonna
some
be
kind of
like,
title
"Geez."
there.
Yeah, I'm with Lazarus, and whatchamacallit, it's kind of part of my oath that I have to finish what I start, so let's fucking do this till...
I mean, I'm definitely gonna go along and be like, hey, cool, that's fine, but we definitely need to get on as soon as we can. I'll understand when you say, hey, we have to finish this first, but...
He's driving towards the other plot. Got it. Okay. Who's going down? Who's staying up?
I'm going down.
Down.
Yeah, down.
You would have an elemental allotment. It's only an hour of invisibility, but they know you're coming, so who cares? You arrive.
Before we go, should we message ahead that we're on this ship?
How about this? Can I use magic to alter any symbols that are on the hull of the ship?
Make a intelligence check.
23.
Yeah, so you know that some of the golden eagles that you left with in the first place didn't stay in the city while you were doing the mustering and getting stuff involved. Some of them did go and speak to the king or queen of Netton, but most of them returned back home. So they probably arrived yesterday or the day before, well before you. So they would probably have been made aware of the fact that your ship is your ship, and so far you haven't seen any griffins or eagles rise up to meet you yet.
Could we still do that though?
Do you have the spell sending?
No, I meant change any imagery that's on the ship.
Oh, sure, yeah, go to hell. Go to town. You had 2 days to do it.
Go to hell.
Alright.
Go to town.
Yeah, fly a flag, go to hell.
Yeah, fucking burn, baby.
See what I can.
What do you want to change the symboling to look like?
I don't know.
Kevin,
Anything that's
Kevin,
conglomerate's gone.
Kevin,
Yeah, well,
this, I'm just pointing at my Mardigan cloak.
maybe we do
Ooh, put an Atavian symbol. I want to do
Tag
it.
it.
Yeah,
Tag it.
Isaac's symbol.
Everybody's tag. Put it on there.
Wow.
We gotta have a tree for Stompwell in there somewhere, and then a big
I'm
L
not tree guy
for
anymore.
Lazarus.
No, but still,
But yeah, it's very
it
obviously
is.
our symbol. It's
just because you're
very
not
elaborate.
Cyprus doesn't mean Cyprus didn't exist.
Oh god!
Right.
But please tag this thing as Atavian and Mardigan. This is gonna be great.
Okay, there are no
Confuse
paint,
everybody.
there are no paints on board. I don't believe anybody had brought paints with them.
He's doing it with magic.
Yeah, magic.
All right.
Magic and flow.
Make an Arcana check.
Send the elemental out there to carve it in.
26.
Are you familiar with the show Star Wars Rebels?
Not
No.
particularly.
Anybody here? No? Oh, the
I've
only
heard
person?
of it. I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, anyways, the Mandalorian on that ship, she does a lot of graffiti work on the interior of the ship. It's very cool. Just had to have been there, I guess. But basically, Lazarus is decking out the exterior of the ship to look more his own, and it's very bright, very noticeable, different from the bright reds or dark reds and golds that I had for the ship before.
We flashy.
And the license plate on the back says "Ride or Die."
Then it'll get sad because she died.
Ass cash or grass bumper sticker on it.
Nerds. Okay, so who's going down? Who's staying up?
I think everybody's going down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's time I met a king.
You descend down, just outside of the keep. You are allowed entry into the keep. When you arrive in kind of the throne room, it looks like it's been kind of more converted into a war room. You do see the king. You do see a young man who doesn't look terribly familiar, but there's something about him that just seems familiar, especially for anybody who's lived in the city of dragons for longer than a couple of years, or a couple of months even. The leader of the military front in the South Quarter, Ankenbrand, is present, as is the elf Aramil Imshnelashon. Several different other advisors and viziers for the king. There's a gnome, blue hair. He looks like he's wearing magely robes. A lot of folks just kind of talking. And the mage is kind of looking at everything, and you are pretty certain that he's present, but as you kind of like pay attention to him, it feels to, especially Lazarus, that it seems to be kind of an illusion that's been brought forward, some form of projection of the person.
Okay, he's Luke Skywalker, I got you.
Yeah, but you can tell. The king kind of looks to you and says, "What item did you bring?"
I'm gonna
Where's the
show
spell
the
core?
sword. Tell him that we managed to keep the spell core intact, which should be advantageous to us, and then pull out the sword and say, but this should...
Advantageous to us as in both of us, or so much to say yourself?
I mean, a bit of both.
Well, according to the reports, you earned it. If you did find a supplement that doesn't require the spell core, I'm not going to stop you from keeping the ship. However, I will tell you that you aren't allowed free reign to fly wherever you so please. If you fly over any of the cities in the kingdom, we'll treat you as hostile. Keep your ships outside after this point.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay. Just don't want that falling on our common folk. Or them even knowing about it, to be fair. He kind of looks to you and says, if you wish, you can engage in the ritual. I do have someone who can administer some form of assistance, but only through communication. It would seem that Lord Prince Barbagezi is not willing to arrive here to assist the kingdom. At that, the minor illusion, or the illusion rather, major imaging, kind of speaks and says, "Actually, if you're going to put it that way, I'm just going to go." And he puts his hand like this and swipes down, and he disappears. The king kind of shakes his head. "You're on your own."
Okay, so I guess it's on to the portal.
Okay.
Like, do we have people preparing it for us before we left? I kind of forget, like, where we left.
They stood near it and kind of kept at it, kept an eye on it to make sure no one came through, but they haven't done anything to it. It's in the same state that it was when last you saw Sven and rush through it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's next.
Okay. So you wish to commit to the ritual and try and break the item so that you can then use it to power the portal and allow for the armies to move on.
Break the item just like it broke my back.
how do you like think in your mind? Just don't try and think of a I don't know. Just whatever goes cinematically. It's fine. So using that kind of mentality, how are you imagining your character is going to disenchant the item and kind of break it apart to put it through? Is it still in the scabbard? Are you drawing it from it, setting it down? Or are you, I mean, like, what's your image for that?
I imagine this is some type of big, like, runic circle. So I'd
Yes.
probably... I imagine we'd have to, like, take it out of the sheath, which is gonna suck, but yeah.
Before you do that, magic items require attunement, do they not?
Oh, real quick question. Sorry. Andy, are you manifest or still hiding in the blade, riding along with Isaac?
Well, if you're going to give me a chance to retcon it, I would rather ride along.
Okay. Yes, I will definitely do so. It would definitely be the main source of inquiry. Oh,
Right.
What? What? Okay. So at that point, if you want to whisper anything to Isaac, anything at all,
I've been doing.
you have been?
Yeah.
Oh, to him?
Yeah, we got our own secret chat here.
All right. Well then.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Secrets. I'm cool with that. That's fine. Okay. Then yeah. Back to the question I asked Lazarus. What?
Yeah, hold on.
Go ahead.
At Lazarus, if it requires drawing the blade to do this, and magic items require attunement, yes?
Mhm.
He should hand the sword off to somebody else, and before they can even attune to it, draw it. So it's not active in their hands. Then you could then place it on the ground inert and start drawing the magic out of it.
But don't we need it? I would have assumed that it needed to be attuned to the user doing the thing to, like, extract the magic.
The magic is present regardless. It's just whether or not you're trying to direct that magic somewhere. And we don't want to direct that magic into sucking up the portal.
I guess? So are you saying this should not be me?
No, I think a third party should take the sword from Steve and draw it and then set it on the ground so it hasn't activated, and then you can pull the magic out of it without it being actively ready to kill the portal.
Sure, we can try that as a precaution. Are you volunteering?
I mean, yeah, if I'm just drawing a sword and setting it on the ground, that's fine. But I don't think Steven should do it since he's attuned, since he's been carrying it around.
Oh no, I gave it to Lazarus as soon as I
Yeah, I
found
would've
it.
had
It was evil.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought he took it back after it blew up your bag.
No, I probably would have had it.
Okay, then yeah,
Just
just
been
give
under his
Steven,
mattress.
have somebody else draw it to set it down before you start.
Yeah, dude. Impale it like your link in the center of the circle. That's what would happen. And whatever ensues is gonna ensue.
You draw the blade from the scabbard, John.
Yeah.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
19.
Okay. You feel something kind of press into kind of the depths of your mind, and then kind of buoyancy kind of pushes it back out as you kind of exert your will over it. And you hear a voice kind of whisper into your mind, I know what you're thinking, and I don't think it's going to work. But that's fine. If necessary, I'll kill all of you.
What does it feel like it's trying to do to me?
No, it felt like it was trying to take over your brain.
Okay, then, yeah, I just say out loud that I will not be taken, chains will be broken, and I set it on the ground
Okay.
and step away.
The second you step away from it, the sword starts to kind of glow with a aqua green color, and a female form appears above the sword. It doesn't seem to have detailing to it. It just seems to be made out of force. And as she appears, she reaches down to grab the sword.
Bind it.
What's that?
Bind it.
Oh, okay.
Wizard.
Yeah, I would have been already doing some whatever it is that I have to do. I would not just be like, oh man, there's a thing reaching for that again. Like, no, we're already...
It definitely does look like it is going to take some time to pick it up. So, Lazarus engaging in the ritual. Isaac, anything in retort to this feminine form appearing above the sword and reaching for the blade?
I'll put my hand on like the hilt of my sword, but I'm kind of like looking to Lazarus, like let him take care of it, and I'll step in if need be. Like I'm ready to go, but I'm letting him do his.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Rapier of warning.
Oh yeah, glowing like crazy.
Yeah. Oh.
Could I pop out of Isaac at this point?
Fine.
Yes. Fonzie, what are you doing?
Can I? Gee. I want to cast Hold Person.
Okay. Go ahead and just click the spell so I have the information there. And Dink.
Attunement's 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's an hour, but yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and draw my sword and sort of stand by Lazarus.
Okay.
He looks like he's made himself a target.
I'm gonna race her for the blade.
Okay.
Grab it before she does.
Do me a favor and make me a dexterity saving throw.
16.
You reach and grab the blade just above her hand, and as you kind of touch her hand, your hand goes through it. It doesn't feel like it's corporeally there. But then it manifests fully, and just before you feel it, like, literally just appear in your own hand, you're withdrawing your own hand, and it seems to just kind of, like, cause just a really tiny bit of skin off the tip of your pinky finger as you're pulling your hand away to just snip off. If your hand had been present while her hand was becoming solid, it would have tore your hand clean apart. And she seems to be holding the blade at this point. Cycle back around. Ithel, you've manifested. Isaac, you have your hand on the sword. Lazarus, you're preparing the ritual, make an Arcana check. John, you're backing away from her, but not like fully. You're still in the 5-foot square there. Fonzie, you cast Hold Person, and as you watch the spell kind of manifest around her and like try to take her mind, you realize that she is not a person or a humanoid. And Dink, you're standing next to Lazarus, kind of waiting in defense. As this creature kind of looks to you, its face starts to form detail, showing like two very round eyes, very small slit of a mouth, and a bit of a nose. And the eyes kind of open so that the color of it's green, and the eyes are like a brighter green instead of the aqua color. And she starts to lift the sword. Yeah, so Andy, what will you be doing?
I want to invoke Smite when I can on the
Isaac?
sword that I.
Okay. Isaac?
Can I hold my action? Can I hold my action to? How far away is Lazarus from me?
10 feet.
Okay, so he's right next to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I still think trying to let him get a chance to get this under control, because my peanut brain is assuming that if he can get his ritual off, that it'll contain. So my hold action will be that if the sword goes to like attack him, like I know that it can like force thrust forward.
Uh-huh.
I want to channel divinity to like take the hit for him.
Got it. And Lazarus, your Arcana check was pretty low. We'll get to that in a bit. John, you are right next to her in the circle.
Yeah, on the reel, I'll use a bonus action to disengage and roll backward. I'm going to scream, protect the king as loud as I can, and ready myself to cast Vicious Mockery. As I say, do not touch her.
Okay. As you say those words, almost as if in response or in response to the last turn of action, I'm just going to interject it here, you hear the sounds of swords being drawn from their sheaths in a very royal and regal manner. It sounds like just something from Game of Thrones, like when they were trying to mess with Joffrey. Just shink! All of them are prepared to rock and roll, and you can see that the king as well has drawn a sword as well. Okay, Fonzie, what will you do this turn?
I'm actually gonna hold and see what happens.
Okay. Dink?
As soon as I see her grabbing the sword, I'm gonna throw a dart. How far away am I? I'm standing next to.
So the ring is about 20 feet in diameter. So you're about 10 feet away from the center, because everybody's kind of on the outskirts.
Right.
And I assumed everybody was kind of near Lazarus because you're a group. So
Yeah, I step to get right next to Lazarus.
Yep.
Sort
Well,
of
I mean,
try to
for
protect him.
I meant that last part for more for everybody else positioning, but
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Yeah, as she's grabbing the sword, I'm gonna try to hit her with a dart.
How does it go?
27 to hit.
Okay. Roll damage. And is the item magical or no?
No.
Okay.
6 piercing.
You see it hit, and then kind of suck into her form, and you see it just kind of floating around inside of her body.
That's coming back.
Okay.
Second attack, another dart.
Yeah, load it up.
12.
Miss. She doesn't move or dodge or anything. It just hits against her and kind of bounces off of her form. Okay. She draws the sword, she raises it up and levels it so that it's kind of held against her face and pointing down at Lazarus. And just as she does so, you see the runes around her and on the floor kind of emanate. And this strange stream of magic starts to flow from her, but not very quickly. She lunges the sword forward, it rips through reality and appears in front of Lazarus.
The ready actions happen.
Yeah, trigger time. So channel divinity, you're intersecting, correct? And taking the damage?
Yeah, if it was gonna hit him, I'd take the hit for him.
My vicious mockery would have come right before that because mine was
Okay.
in reaction to her.
Yeah, go ahead and drop that spell so I see it.
DC level.
Success.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I didn't expect to really hit. I mean,
But
was
it's an
gonna do
effort, you
5.
know.
It was going to do 5 damage.
Was wisdom your high? Is that your highest mental score?
They're the same. They're both 16s.
It should be higher than that. It's 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your 3. Is your DC.
Should be 14.
So
Yeah.
you get 14 then.
Yeah, it still misses, but yeah. Just for future reference. And then Isaac, your channel divinity, you're taking the shot instead, right?
Yep. So I essentially teleport right as the sword teleports in front of like Lazarus, about to like fly into his head or something. I'm just gonna appear in front.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like, oh, my chest, my bloody chest.
You watch, kind of in horror, Lazarus, as this rent appears in front of you, and then Isaac kind of like intercedes through divine magic to get in between you and it. The last thing you see, of that teleportation, let me explain it differently. I started that whole sentence off bad. You see Isaac get in the way as the sword starts to appear in front of you. Then you see the sword blade anyways as it goes right through Isaac and then retreats back out of him. Isaac take 37 points of damage. Lazarus,
What?
you are 100% certain had that attack hit you, you would have been downed.
Oh my god, that's my exact health score.
That is
Like,
your
what
exact
is
health score.
am I just like gushing blood, or is the wound very unique?
It kind of stabs into your side and kind of comes out. It's a perfectly clean cut. There's not a whole bunch of blood jumping out at first. As you kind of start your next turn, you do start to notice it's starting to flow out. It's very shinobi-esque, like, you know, if you would cut somebody down with this weapon, you'd have to wait a second and then tilt the blade, and then it would start gushing everywhere. It's one of those deals.
It's so sharp.
I just
Yeah.
look over my
Put that
shoulder at Lazarus, and it's
You
kind
should
of
have
like,
put that adamantine plate on, man.
it's like, it's just a flesh wound. Finish your spell.
At the start of it, so Invoke Smite has been brought to you, Isaac. So if you are to engage her, now that she hasn't moved, she's still in the center of the ring. But if you do attack her, it will be more beneficial. Ithel, it's back to you. And then
So
we'll cycle down.
I have another action, right? So it's a separate action.
We're on a whole new turn, yeah. We're not doing
I'm gonna.
we're not doing an initiative because I'm just lazy. What we're doing is
understand.
just going in order.
I'm going to heal Isaac for 10 points. I'm using my sympathetic mending.
Okay. You feel the spirit of the moon kind of grace you and heal your wound. Isaac, what would you like to do?
I was gonna heal myself, but I guess in that moment I kind of looked down and I don't know what spirit mending looks like, but I guess it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll rush her with my with the sword, and I'll lay on down the smackdown. Hopefully, this cool ghost magic does some cool shit.
Lazarus, make an Arcana check.
12.
Isaac, make a Wisdom saving throw.
Oh lord. Oh, 10.
Okay.
Oof.
As he rushes out to meet her and attack her, you see the runes start to pull from Isaac as well. That same kind of coloration that's being distorted from the weapon, or that same kind of flow, rather, is pulling from Isaac. However, Isaac's color is not that aqua green color. It's more of a blue energy that's coming off of Isaac and shedding into the runes. He rushes forward and he attacks. Make your attack roll. And John, you're on the level next, but you obviously see things. Go ahead and
25.
yeah, give me that damage.
And just before I roll damage,
Yeah.
second level smite.
Okay. On top of the 2 damage from the invoke smite. Okay.
Yeah.
17, 19, and then smite damage.
3d8 if it's second level, right?
Yeah. Why is that adding 5?
You said my proficiency 3,
Yeah. Not.
dueling 2.
Oh shit. Yeah, you are that good.
That is good.
Yep.
You rolled
I am
an
that.
8. That's nice.
I am that good. Then an additional 17 radiant damage.
So 32. The weapon is magical.
36.
34. 36. You're right. Did you have the 2 from the invoke?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. My math was
I
bad.
return her attack in kind. Let's go.
As you kind of like rush forward, the wound now kind of leaching blood and this energy, you come forward and smash into her. As you do so, she breaks, shatters like glass, just shards of her throwing out onto the floor. The sword does not fall. It lingers in the air there, and it spins up as if someone was tilting the blade back up to their defensive posture. And you see the dagger that Dink had hit her with floating
Dart.
there. Yeah, dart, and it just shoots straight at you.
Told you.
15 misses. You manage to kind of just
Yep.
get in your, do you have your shield out? No, you still have high
Yeah,
enough armor to block it anyway. You just get in there and block it. As it comes in at you, and it kind of clatters to the floor. In this moment, you realize too, like your energy seems to be coursing out, and so are the shards. They seem to be becoming liquid and flowing into the runes. The sword doesn't seem to be changing. It doesn't have any tethers to it. John, I'm sorry I left up at you, and then Fonzie, you're on deck.
So I'm not magical, but just by intelligence. So I feel like the portal is leeching magical energy off what's on top of it.
Make an Arcana check. Again, it's untrained, but yeah, or a Religion check. But wow, okay.
23.
Yeah, you're pretty sure that it's siphoning not the magic from Isaac, but just the raw essence of what makes a person. That could be considered magic.
Yeah, because I would be in the middle of the circle too, since I was across from Lazarus.
You
so
rushed
I
out
turned
of
and
it.
Run like
You rushed out of
Did
it.
you roll
No.
away?
not that far.
No,
But,
it's
maybe.
only 10 feet radius. You said you backed away towards Lazarus.
You did
Yeah.
disengage
I was-
and roll
I was-
away, you said.
I disengaged from her, yeah, so I'd be opposite Lazarus. But okay, if that's fine then.
You said like
I was just
15
gonna run
feet,
like hell.
But yeah.
If I was on it still, I was moving, so I don't
No,
want that.
no, I would have. If
I pictured it like you barrel rolled away from like
Yeah.
the center of the.
That's what I thought too, but
okay,
at some point
no.
I thought the circle was a little bigger. So that's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not on it. Good.
you
That's
would
what I want.
you would have had to make the same wisdom saving throw if you were still on it. I knew you weren't in my head.
Good.
So
Okay. Then, I don't have any magical range, so I'm gonna try to vicious mockery her again. That's at range, right?
Mhm.
DC 14.
Okay, you're kind of targeting just the sword because she's broken into pieces all over the place, and it doesn't seem to have any kind of effect on the blade. That said,
Bonus, give Steven that
In-
thing that I do.
yeah, aid.
Yeah, that's
uh,
it. AIDS.
Can we? I want to give it to Lazarus so he can not fail Arcana checks.
Please.
I already did it.
Oh, next time.
Bombs.
But I appreciate
That
it.
is a good idea.
Bombs it.
Since I don't know what's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and try to roll to see what's happening and what's going on with it and everything.
Okay, make an Arcana check. He's gonna crit this and make frickin' Lazarus look bad.
15.
Still makes him look bad, but yeah. So what you're realizing here is that this sword appears to be an artifact, a sentient one, and apparently it has the ability to make and manifest its own spectral form, or you actually are looking at it and you realize it's not spectral. It is a physical being, but it appears to be made out of force magic. But it's broken now. Its pieces are now glowing and kind of going into the runes. What Lazarus is attempting to do is siphon the magical energies inside of the ring to repower the teleportation circle. And because of the strength that's basically imbued to him here, because of the start of the ritual and the sword, it seems to be working on Isaac as well. Lazarus is drawing indiscriminately because he's clumsily doing it.
Okay.
All right. And then Dink.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to aid Lazarus any way I can. I'm clearly not gonna be able to do anything to that sword.
Okay. What I want you to do, because again,
All right.
you're not really trained in Arcana, and so
Sure.
just a pep talk from the old halfling, I mean, might work in most situations, but here obviously a little different. Make an
I think
Arcana
good.
check.
All right. 11.
Sufficient. I'll go ahead and say it's enough to kind of help him out, to point out like what's going on, to make him kind of understand what
You want to make the magic all go that way?
So, cycling back up to the top, Ithel.
I will try to heal.
Oh, sorry.
Isaac again.
Nope, I apologize. I forgot the sword.
Yeah.
Okay. It is going to go full itinerary of attacks, since its target is adjacent. Doesn't have to do its ranging. Hit.
Ow.
With the first attack, it's only 8 points of damage,
Okay.
and then 4 points of damage, and
Okay.
then 7 points of damage.
Alright, so a total of 10.
Yeah, -3, -3, you're right.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
a flush. It's just a nix. I've had worse.
As you're fighting with the blade and kind of catching it and kind of, tucking it away, it seems like it's doing its movements and attacks. There's no strength behind it, and there's not much grace behind it. Like, it doesn't seem to be being wielded. It feels like the sword itself is trying to fight with itself.
Just
which
kind of flailing.
Yeah, there's absolutely no grace to it. It literally is just kind of swinging its blade at you wildly.
Grab it. Just grab it.
It's still efficient. It seems to be very, very sharp, but it's not. If someone was wielding it like that first attack, it feels like it would probably be more deadly. Okay, so then apologies. Ithel, go ahead.
Sure. Isaac, get back 10.
Okay. And then Isaac.
Is it this? You said my essence is being pulled off my body. Is this hurting, or do I not even know?
Not yet. You notice
Oof.
it. I mean, after blocking the attacks and kind of looking down for a second, you realize there's something going on, but you don't feel any changes or anything.
I'm gonna disengage and get out of the circle and just get Lazarus, let him finish the job.
Okay. Lazarus, make an Arcana check with advantage.
24.
Good enough. You basically reach down and press your hands onto the ground where you've laid out a bit of salt in the initial portion of the ritual for your own kind of forming to try and create the circle. Instead of reaching out and drawing it by hand, you do it operationally from the side. You spin the salt circles, move them with your hands inwards, and the second you do, Isaac is out. You watch as all the tethers that are connected to the parts reach up and grab the sword like lashes, binding onto the blade, and you turn them down, and it causes the blade to slap back to the stone. And you kind of hold that there, and realize that you have to do this, or you have to suck its energy. You cannot do both. And you realize at this point, as an Arcanist, someone is going to have to take over the reins on the holding portion, and you are going to have to continue on with the ritual portion. So looking around, you're looking for someone who can cast spells.
So I call for motion or call for Fomsy, like,
Yeah.
get over here, I need you to hold it.
You're kind of like in this weird, sick, like kneeling press up, and you're kind of looking over at him like, get over here.
I need you to spot me, bro.
Jun, you see the situation arise as it has.
I give aid to Lazarus and ready vicious mockery if a body manifests again.
Okay. Jun starts kind of talking over your shoulder and then kind of looking over to Fomsy and kind of doing the typical Jun micromanagement method of pointing at things. Fomsy, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna go over and help with
Okay.
the spell holding them down.
Make an Arcana check. Okay.
21.
As you kind of place your small gnome hands on top of Lazarus's, you kind of like look at him and kind of nod, and he slips his hands out from underneath yours, and you place yours down and turn them just as he did, and you see the blade kind of jostle up for a second and clank against the stone, but as you kind of roll your fingers inwards, you watch as the blade holds. Lazarus, you kind of slip away and realize you can kind of create your new circle and start work on the next step. Dink, looks like Fomsy has got it, but you were able to help Lazarus with your pep talk. Now he's in the same sitting position. Do you just want to take over there?
Well, it looks like. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
stick with Lazarus. Should I give another Arcana check?
Well, Lazarus has moved away and looks like he's getting help from Jun. Fomsy is.
Yeah, I'll stick with Fomsy.
I'm putting the
He
I'm putting the
seems to
short
be
people
important
together.
right now.
I'm putting the short people together. You know.
Yeah, we're gonna
Um,
stick together.
Okay, so yeah, you don't need to roll an Arcana check for this, but basically with Fomsy, you kind of hold it with inspiration and pep talk from Dink, and Lazarus with kind of instruction and kind of like if you're kind of missing something,
Micromanagement.
like the sword is starting to pull away or something, you kind of hold Isaac kind of standing back with Ithel kind of lingering nearby. You watch as the sword starts to break apart and shatter into small little pieces and slivers, and then even smaller pieces and just bits of sand until it's completely gone. And then the runes on the portal circle all glow purple and then kind of dim down to nothing. Lazarus, you would know that at that point the magic that was bound into the weapon is now laced into the circle. And you know the activation keyword because you made it up as you were building it. It's Mythorge, name of the sword.
Okay. I don't know if I would have gone with that demonic sword's name. That sounds like a bad omen.
It's an easy
Does
way
it
to.
have to-
It's an easy way to remember it. Is how did I make this portal? Oh right, evil sword.
I got you.
Good job, fellas.
The king and his men are kind of standing on the outside of the circles. You guys weren't really paying attention to it, but now you realize that you're completely surrounded by like the king's guard and
So
all
did the
of
portal form, or Lazarus has
No,
to
it's
say
ready.
like,
yeah.
oh, I want to say like, cue the Diablo 2 like town portal. What?
Sound effect.
Yeah.
Not so much, but yeah, what you would realize is when you activate it, it will create kind of a door present there, but it won't be like ringed with energy or anything. It will literally just be a rip in reality that you can walk through, and the other side that you're looking through will be wherever the portal linked is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one, have we figured out where exactly it's linking to?
Somewhere in
and two,
Janaris.
we're not opening it right this second.
You
Please.
can if you want to,
No,
but
no,
so
we
far,
need to, like, figure-
so far to say, you're the only one that knows the keyword to open it.
Yeah, okay.
So to answer your two questions, no, you don't know where it goes, and B, no, it's not open right now.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we're not like, yeah, we're opening at this moment.
Right. What would you like to do?
I guess first thing is tell the king it's fine. So yeah, like we've got it under control. The portal is ready to be summoned, but
Gestures for a vizier. Probably my my vanguard. They will enter into the portal first to investigate what it is. Magician, open the portal, and he gestures to another individual who kind of walks up. It's a younger man. He says, "Hi, inform him how the portal is opened. We'll take it over
Yeah.
from here.
I tell him the code word or the pass, and yeah, I again like advise the king, like make sure that we have like what we're taking with us to go through, because yeah, we don't know what to expect.
Okay.
Great.
Are you volunteering to assist us on the other side? I wasn't initially planning on taking any of you.
Out of character, we have ties to Stenin, or not me personally, but I know the others do. Correct?
Well, we did hear rumors that Stenin did go through the portal, but after 7 days, I'm pretty sure if he was to deal with Janarans on the other side, he's probably no longer alive. It is honorable of you to wish to go and save him, but I assure you that my vanguard should be able to deal with any problems, and if Stenin is found, he'll be returned to the city.
Well, I kind of, at this point, yeah, in like the middle of the conversation, I'll kind of like look over my shoulder to the rest of the group, kind of like what do you got? Like, what's your say on this? Do you guys want to go fight this crazy battle? Like, it could be an absolute disaster. It's not the first thing on my list. Personally, I've already attained a ship, and I'm a performer. This can elevate my travel potential. So I'm content.
As the king is sure he can deal with this, we could go deal with the other ships.
I kind of look down at the streets, the elf sword, and like, we have another task. The king can save his man.
Okay.
Does he have a way to contact us if the shit hits the fan?
The king looks at you and says, not particularly, but my current seat of power, at least for the undetermined future, will be here, at this gate. You can hear like the sound of more troops mobilizing inside of the fort, and you can see that you didn't notice it before, but basically defenses have been built inside of the courtroom already, and they start pushing them out to the fore so that the portal, if opened and anything comes through, will be dealt with by ballista fire, swords and spears. It just appears that there's a lot going on here.
I'm just saying, like, in case of emergency, if he absolutely needs us, we're no more than a couple minutes away if we go full bore.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a way to like get in contact with them, especially because the only reason I do have this ship is because of what you did.
Oh no, we were getting a ship regardless.
Well, does this young arcanist, you can always ask him if he knows the spell sending or whatever.
Oh, that's true.
I don't. Sending is a 4th level spell, and I wasn't able to do this whole magic stuff. We had to refer to somebody who was more powerful than me, who also can't cast 4th level spells.
Send this kid out to the forest to kill boars. To grind that XP.
They could always send a bird. They got a lot of big birds.
Yeah, actually no, that's reasonable. On our way out, we're gonna, I assume, say goodbye to the king and go do our stuff now. Could I request that he obtains the spell scroll sending for me so that we could maintain communication?
The only person who I know who can cast any more powerful spells than you're able to is the Prince Barbagezi, and he was ordered here, and despite having been ordered here by me, had the gall to not arrive and to leave in his minor form, even with that. He is not my current priority, but he will be dealt with. Unfortunately, that kind of puts us to a point where I doubt I'm going to be able to request such an item from him.
Well, damn.
Oh, if you need us, you can always send a bird.
I will try and find you. Where are you headed?
The Barrier Hills?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, and then aren't the Barrier Hills near Stormloft?
So, the
So we
barrier.
should probably tell him that we might be flying around Stormloft, because he seemed pretty antsy about
He
us
said-
flying around his
He said just don't fly over his cities. That's all he said.
Yeah, we can be clear of the city.
Yeah.
If he says the Barrier Hills, I would
Very peace.
chime in and say the Half-Cut Hills, or the Barrier Peaks. The Half-Cut Hills will be closer to Stormloft.
I'm not good with geography.
Sponty kind of goes, You're not smart? Oh, big surprise.
Me hit stuff real good like.
Okay, so that said, the king is basically ushering people to come in and set up these defenses. These people are also ushering people out. It feels like if you have anything that you want to say to the king or any of his entourage here, this is your last chance before they push you out of the chambers in question.
I just wish him luck and thank him for, I still view that we got this ship because of him. So yeah, I'm thankful.
Oh, yeah, you notice he hasn't thrown out any offers of reward at this point.
No, of course not. He knows. I know.
Wait, what
So,
offers of reward?
Well, no, like, you are aware that, like, the way that you were successful was by utilizing his resources,
Yeah.
and he's not trying
The
to
only
take
way
you
we
out.
got the ship is because we had the Griffin Riders.
Right.
We're
Yo,
just-
Jun didn't get
Die for
shit.
us. But yeah, so yeah, Lazarus would be grateful, express said gratitude, and head back to the ship. It's time to start the adventure.
I just want to ask the king if, in his time knowing Stennin, if he ever mentioned anything about a doppelganger.
A doppelganger? No.
We-
You hear
in order to-
you hear from the side. Yeah, actually, I have heard about that.
This guy again?
There were 2 Stennins at the Battle of Hilton. One of them rode a big blue dragon, killed a lot of good men, chased us off into the Dwarf Road. A demon to be sure. There was a
Demon indeed.
time when Stennin was not as reckless as he was. He was more concerned about the well-being of the good people, the civilians and citizens of Hilton, the lowly folk. Then we went up to a mountain not too far from where you guys are talking about going to, and a black dragon shot its acid breath all over him and he died. It was horrible. Fortunately for him, or possibly unfortunately, there was a very powerful priest who was passing through the city because of a festival known as the Shackling. They called him the Red Priest. I didn't really catch his actual name.
Oh, I know that guy.
You've heard of the Red Priest?
Of course I have. He's a Octavian Inquisitor. Pretty famous, I would assume.
Yeah, well, he's been around these parts, but no one's seen him for a while, not since the Battle of Hilton. Anyway, he brought him back to life, but he said it would come at a cost. And ever since then, Stennin was never the same, and then we saw that there was another copy of him. An evil one.
Yeah, he kicked the shit out of us. Quite literally kicked the shit out of us. Like,
Isaac pooped his pants.
Like I was saying, he's a demon, so I imagine that would be the case. We didn't fight him. We closed a big door behind us and hoped it would hold, and it did. Whatever essence recalled him or called him to fight us in the first place obviously never sent him to continue his attack. Fortunately for us. We had other matters to deal with. Big slimy fish thing, and it was just horrible. Oh, it was just a bad couple of years. I mean, this is pretty bad. Kind of gestures toward the road steady. But it was pretty bad, too. I really can't catch a fucking break. He walks away from you.
What a fucking bummer.
Yeah. You need a vacation, dude.
He gets married and goes on his honeymoon in the Dominican Republic. Chef.
is Airmill planning on going through the portal?
Oh, no. It doesn't look like... He's just a part of... I mean, he doesn't seem to be a part of the Vanguard.
Okay. I was gonna tell him, if you ever run into Stennin again, and he wants to ever get rid of that evil half, I think we got a bone to pick with his evil half too, so maybe we could do the old tag team one day, if you ever see.
He says, yeah, I'll let him know if we see him. You hear the flapping of eagle wings on the outside of the building. It doesn't sound like something's taking off. It sounds like something's circling the building downwards. Then you hear a loud, gush of wind kind of in the antechamber before the throne room. A few moments later, you see Seth Hyland walking in, having returned from Netton. He looks to you and kind of nods his head to you all. You see the vanguard that was stationed, prepared, seems to have left a place out in the fore for him. He walks up to one of the members of the vanguard, speaks to them very quickly, and turns and says, "My liege, we are prepared. We will continue on in, and we will face what we can. Once we have defeated and created a stronghold position in their territory, we'll send someone back. We can lead your forces in. The king nods. You have my decree. Deal with these Janaran scum. Do what they have done to us. Bring them to justice. If they are... Bring their leaders to justice. But only if they surrender. Show them mercy where they did not show us. Kind of sounded like a bit rageful at first, but then brought it back in, reined in his anger, and yeah, you guys head back outside as a group, kind of looking around at each other. It does sound like there are a couple of different directions here. Lazarus, devil may care, has a boat, knows how to fly it, doesn't really care where he goes, mostly focused on his gigs.
Before we leave, I'm going to be falling back a little bit and telling them that I will catch up to them.
Okay.
And I want to speak with the king.
It looks like he's very busy.
I understand that, but any word I can get to him.
Okay.
Or one of his underlings is probably acceptable also.
Okay, one of his viziers, the mage, actually, that you saw, kind of is off to the side. No one's really talking to him.
Yeah, I'll approach him and just explain that as we were preparing for this mission to procure the items to set this portal, I was, at the time, not in any need of anything that I was going to be useful in our mission. But as we traveled, I've come across an item I would like to procure for myself. Would that be an option to get a writ from the king retroactively?
What is the item you're seeking?
I saw it rather closely, and I was very intrigued and liked it greatly. It was a small ring that kind of a ram's head on it. Magical in nature, and it just seems perfect for the battles we've been getting into to separate myself from my enemy.
And who had it?
I believe your gem shopkeeper, he had one.
Oh, a gem shop in town. Okay, well, let me quickly ask the king. I will interject really quick. One moment. You see him kind of break through the throng and rush up to the king and whisper into his ear. He kind of looks over at you and kind of looks at the mage and kind of shakes his head, kind of like, then it just shrugs his shoulders. The guy comes back, and as he's walking towards you, you see him pull out a quill, throw it up into the air, and pull out a piece of paper, and he starts talking to the piece of paper. Once he arrives at you, the paper has been completely writ. He pulls out a wax seal and stamps it seeming to have been heated by his index finger and thumb, and places a wax seal of the king down upon it, and quickly puts that back into his pocket. Hands you the piece of paper, which states, dear, the actual name of the gem keeper, I don't recall it because I don't have my notes out, surrender the ring.
Neat.
Wow.
Just Jun things.
Okay.
Step one complete, and I wish the king the greatest victory ever in battle.
Come back to that shop with a big
As-
smile on his face.
As you're going back to do that, we're going to cut away from you and go back to the other five who are still interjecting.
Yeah,
Sounds-
I would just be catching up to them at this point.
But real quick interjection though, from you, like just a note from you. Your character's like directionality. Are you with Isaac, Ithel, and Fomsey towards the runestones? Is that kind of?
Oh yeah, I'm in my head. I'm still following the runestones.
Okay, got it. So the rest of you are kind of talking and discussing, and it sounds like Isaac, Ithel, and Fomsey are on the same page. Runestones, we need to find them. Fomsey mentions that he knows where two might be. Now just Dink and Lazarus, just gotta try and convince them into that.
I mean, I'm not, or like Lazarus wouldn't be opposed to it because he saw the woman turn into Ashmedea, right?
He did.
So I'm no stranger to that.
He froze in fear in front of a colossal dragon.
Yeah, like I'm no disaster to this inevitable doom. So I mean, if they were to ever ask me, it's not like I'd be like, well, fuck you guys.
You feel like you have the ability to do something, and even more so now with the ship.
I mean, yeah, all this performing and making money isn't going to be any good if this demon chaos dragon fucks everything up.
And for Dink,
Well, Gimwitch always wanted me to write a tale. This seems a good way to do it. And whatever gets my rock back, I'll stick with you until it's back in my head.
perfect. there's a cutscene from you guys, and there's a smiling Jun exiting out of the wreckage.
Oh, Jun's not smiling. Jun looks exactly like he always looks.
Well, okay, internally smiling,
Like
but
a douche.
he's
Yeah, internally. Yeah.
currently like jostling a ring on his finger that has a ram's head upon it. Add a ring of the ram to your sheet, and you guys all meet back up at the ship.
I have one more point of business I
Oh.
can take care of in Dragons before leaving.
Okay.
I want to find the other dude with the Mardigan emblem.
Do you remember where he was?
Last time I saw him, he was at the army base as the Eagles were getting ready to ride.
Okay, it was Aramil, the gruff-sounding elf.
Yeah.
So you could have gotten that out of the way. What did you want to tell him?
That I'm with him and I want to restart everything here under a new name, and we're ready to fund it. I tell him exactly where that Dragon's Hoard was, and tell him to send a party and whatever he's got to get that stuff back, because there are millions of gold down there.
He says he'll probably try and do it himself, but he lets you know that starting anything like operationally here in the near future is probably a bad idea, because since the skin of the place has been burned clean off by the conglomerate's fire, there's really nowhere to hide that kind of thing.
No, you're wrong. See, this is where the best part is. You go get the gold. When you bring it back to town, you start laundering that money. Front the businesses. Start rebuilding. Fix the tunnels. Make the repairs to the town. Get the cash in here.
And then basically in the process of
People will
paying,
follow us, and then the eyes start turning away as business takes place.
but as we're basically repairing everyone's stuff, we make sure that they're aware of who they're. Okay, that does make sense. And Aramil kind of gives you one of these.
Hit him with the Robin Hood.
Gives you one of those. Gives you a double. I just wanted to make sure it was I mean, obviously doing scandalous shit would be a problem, but yeah, gives you the double thumbs up, and
Yeah. Now we can do our scandalous shit in broad daylight. No one's going to say a fuck about it.
Yeah, bring in all the crazy Saryuchin magic gamblers you want. No problems. Okay, then everybody
Hey, man.
gets on.
That's just more money for town.
Then everybody gets on the ship.
Drains was where the big circle church was, right?
Yes.
Before I leave, I promised William and John, those two young boys whose names are now William and John, that I would make sure that a replacement for Andovan was sent. So I'm just gonna, write a quick letter and make sure like get a Raven to us.
When you
go into
actually
Australia or something.
arrive at if you go to the fold, the Great Church, and you go and check on them, you'll actually find that there are a number of different Atavian priests who have arrived. 3, to be precise. An older gentleman who goes by the name Aphragrad. He seems to be the leader of the 3 priests. The other 2 priests, a younger man and another one who looks a bit more militant, like he's a part of the Comus Palatinus himself. They are younger folks, but their names aren't terribly important at this point. Mostly just Aphagrad's name is important. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat so you have it. He is the current leader, the new leader of the group. And through discussion with these individuals, what you find out is he was serving as the chaplain for one of the divisions of the King's Army, and he's been stationed here as the army is going to basically take over the city. And the 2 young ones, the Comus Palatinus is a member of the military who's been given leave to rebuild the church and assist here, since no other presence are present since the priest who lived here died. And the younger gentleman, the younger priest, is basically the assistant of the older man.
Okay, yeah, my intent was just to make sure the young people were taken care of, and because I kind of took the responsibility of looking out for them, and if I'm gonna leave for God knows how long, I want to make sure they're all taken care of and can continue on their righteous path.
It seems like it's one of those situations where everything worked out for the better, despite
Sweet.
your lack of influence in it at all.
Things tend to unfold as they should.
Atavius bless.
Yeah. Praise Atavius. Good job. All right, bye.
It all worked out. But yeah, it does seem like you do have kind of a fallback point that's a bit stronger than it was when you left. Afrigrad also seems to be quite knowledgeable as well. So there's that.
Cool.
Okay. You two leave and head on up to the ship. Now here comes a fun time discussion. Here there are 2 points of interest. 2. There's a place somewhere in the Barrier Peaks that's up in a high, frosty white mountain. And a place that's a bit closer that is a hidden shrine, not knowing exactly where the location is, but a hidden shrine of the Vazriel people that is in the Half-Cut Hills in the Stormloft's more northern section, the Feherbarn earldom. So, that said, what would you like to do?
Do we know anything about the local dangers to either of those?
Sure.
You know, what kind of wildlife, anything like that?
Yep. The Half-Cut Hills are pretty well known for having giants kin, ogres, Etten, hill giants present in their area. Most of the larger giants have kind of moved out from and away from there. There was a time where there was an army led by a frost giant that moved around those parts, but that frost giant was killed by a hero who you recall. Dink, make a history check.
It's Gimwitch. 10.
It is Gemwich. Yep.
Of course it is.
Gemwich led an army and destroyed the frost giant. As you're kind of reflecting on that, Isaac and Fomsy, if you want to make history checks to remember who that great hero was.
Gimwitch
21.
Third.
13.
21 lets you know that it was a great general, a knight named Hawk.
Oh yeah.
So Hawk of House Gemwich, clearly.
Clearly.
Hawk of House Gemwich.
Hawk von Gimwitch, yes.
Hawk von Gemwich. But yeah, mostly hill giants would probably be the worst threat you'd encounter, just as random encounters go. Ogres, possibly an Etten, but a bit more rare. Those are kind of a anomaly amongst giant kin. But you don't know precisely where the shrine is located, which is a problem. Obviously, it would definitely require some investigation. But
I would interject. If Lazarus can talk to the spell engine again, we show her the runes, and then would she then be able to better,
Yeah, be able to mark them out.
find one? Could she hone in on one for us?
okay, Lazarus, you already know the limitations. Basically, it can find very large sources of energy, magical energies, like artifacts or other spell cores. You're pretty certain that the runestones, though old and a part of an artifact in a way, you don't think that she's going to be able to key in on them like she does with
Even if we get close enough, like we're on top of the forest, she wouldn't be able to narrow it down.
Not so
What
much.
about
You'd be able to find the shrine pretty easily enough, though, because you'll be flying above it. It would probably be a lot easier to map out something. Like, you're not going to be wandering around on the ground looking for a shrine. You're going to be looking down at it and going, maybe that's it, or maybe that's it.
you said the shrine is Vazriel? What is that?
History check.
21.
Really good. So, before Parnak became Parnak, it was filled with a different numbering types of peoples, tribes of humans. Elves ruled the area, but they ruled from their cities. Now elves don't rule in cities. Elves don't have cities. This was before the concordant of the Aetan, which basically said all elves will go back to their world. If they remain here in the material plane, they will not create and they will not rule. They will allow other mortality to do so. The humans that were present, though, before they rose up to fight alongside the elves, or they chose to join the dragons in the War of Sword and Serpent, those human tribes were collectively known as the Vazriel. They didn't worship deities as humans do now. Instead, they worshipped great beasts that they would find in the world. Some of those great beasts would be sentient, would basically take this worship to more, sometimes benevolent, but mostly self-serving for the creature purposes. The four greatest of these tribes that you can think of were a group known as the Darelothoth, or Darelothothi, the Ashmodeans, which is a kind of important one, and there was the Svenin, and the last of the four was the Karamusan. But the most important of the ones as you're thinking about it is the Ashmodeans. And as you think about that, you remember that there was a large red dragon in the ages of the Vazriel that ruled over humans that fought on their side during the War of Sword and Serpent. This is the very same Ashmedea that was lanced in the heart by Saint Deveriu, had her heart expunged from her body, and became the demon princess of greed. The very same dragon that you almost shit your pants. Oh, actually, did you shit? You shit your pants too.
Yo.
So specifically, we're looking for Vazriel ruins, specifically
No.
ones that Ashmodeans used.
Not a ruin.
If we go to the hills.
Not a ruin. A hidden shrine.
Hidden shrine, probably created by Ashmodean Vazriel people.
Possibly so, yes.
And our other option was a mountain peak.
Correct. It was a very high northern barrier peak. The creatures that you would know would be problems to you, dilemmas to possibly deal with if you're out and about in the area. Remoraz, if you're familiar with polar worms, and possibly other like mountainous and wintry creatures, possibly white dragons, and so on.
With the discovery of the new away ship that we have a little more mobility, I don't think most of the local wildlife is going to be that much of an issue. I mean, we can hover down right over the roof of what we're going to. Just cut a hole in it and drop in and take what we need.
It's so much the landing. Like, obviously that won't be a problem if there's a close by place to land. But if you're looking at a mountainous area and there really isn't a place to land that bad boy, there might be some traversing.
Can that one hover, though? The
No.
maneuverable one?
No. It doesn't. No. It lands. I mean, it doesn't. If it has an operator, yes, but it lands. You can't just jump off of it and it just stays there.
Right. No. If someone was driving it.
Yeah.
So we take the current ship up to, high altitude where giants can't hit it with rocks, use the away ship, Lazarus at the helm, puts us at the roof, we drop in, he pops back up, and just wait for him to call. We call him back down.
So Lazarus is out of the party. You don't want to take one of your mages?
No, he is the most important thing because he's the getaway driver. We just start robbing these places with runes.
All right. I mean, I understand from a functional perspective that does make sense, but on the same side, I do also understand that you're entering into a place where every hand you have counts. So,
From a tactical standpoint, having an illusion wizard against giants who tend to be stupid is tactically very useful.
How durable are these runes?
pretty durable. Yeah. None of them have broken so far.
Level
I mean,
the whole
like,
mountain.
yeah, if we just blow the shrine up with sky cannons, go down and soar through the rubble.
Okay. So you'd be certain that the spell cannons wouldn't really have much effect on like destroying something that is as sturdy as like an interior cavern or dungeon. If the shrine is out and about and is constructed poorly, as most Vazriel sites were, with the exceptions of the really, really powerful ones, yeah, you could probably blow it up from the sky. The cannons are certainly capable of leveling like structures made out of wood, but structures made out of stone, you're certain that not so much.
They're essentially, the spell cannons essentially just fire off fireball spells, right?
It's basically the fireball spell, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like 10 fireball spells.
That's fine. It's still just fire.
I see
So-
Kevin laughing. Lazarus is on board.
In the Barrier Hills, is anyone familiar with that geography?
So
Is there
you
perhaps
keep-
a small
You keep doing it
settlement?
wrong. It's the barrier peaks and the half-cut hills.
And we're going to the Half-Cut Hills?
I don't know where you're going.
That's
Those are
what we're
the,
deciding right now.
the two options
Half-cut
are
hill-
Closer. Let's just go.
mountain and the barrier
And
peaks.
heavy forests.
Mountain and the barrier peaks.
Barrier
This
Peak
is gonna
has-
be a ridiculous discussion.
Wait, which one has the
Cold winter
giants?
stuff. The Half-Cut Hills has giants.
In the Half-Cut Hills, is there any like small like settlements or anything
Hey, right.
that anyone knows? Is anyone familiar with that area?
Is anyone from Stormloft proper?
Well, if we fly around there and we see a settlement, maybe we could ask a local if they know of any ruin. That might save us some time of just
Well,
aimlessly flying around.
from my studies, I would have found at least a
Yeah, you have a good
roundabout
idea.
location when I
You
I have a good
idea.
idea of it. I can point it out, but I mean I don't know exactly where it is, but I know I have a good idea.
All right, that's perfect.
I vote giants. I vote the hills.
Giants, electric centipedes. Giants,
Giants.
electric centipedes.
Well, we're gonna do both.
They're
They
not
both have
electric.
a rune, right?
They're mostly fire.
Oh, that makes it so much better.
They melt.
It's just a matter of
weapons.
which one you want to do first.
Yeah, we do have to go get them both eventually.
I say giants, get our feet wet.
Yeah, have a good time, keep spirits up, and then go have a shitty time in the mountains. Save that for last. That's our pudding right there.
Okay, so Half-Cut Hills, is that the vote?
Half-Cut Hills.
Okay. All right. So to be sure, you guys are wanting to fly out to the Stormloft region, and when you arrive in the Fairbarn Earldom, your goal is to move towards the Half-Cut Hills. And then there was some talk of people saying they wanted to go and try and find a settlement to kind of, acquire information. Is that a thing?
Oh, that was only before Fomsy mentioned that he has a good idea of where it is, so that's not necessary.
Okay.
That was literally my intent, was to find someone who might have an idea of where it is. But if Fonzie knows that from his research, then that's perfect.
Yeah, here's an idea of where it's at. Okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure that this map is good and kosher. Nothing on it that would be older.
We have had time to rest since
Oh,
the portal
yeah.
fiasco.
It's going to
Okay.
take you probably about 4 days to get from point A to point B. And
Full
because
speed ahead. We're doing this in seconds.
no, even with the zipping, like it's going to be like 2 days. Because it's a limited range of the zippy zip. And you guys are literally, let me double check that actually. I think it's somewhere around a few hundred, let's see. So we're talking about 300 miles. I say the better, 2 days. No, about a day and a half. Because when you zip, it's that'd be pretty damn fast. But it's
How many knots?
I don't know how many knots.
That'd be 60.
Damn boat talk. Anyway, we'll just go a day and a half. If you're using the spell engines, your elemental engines to do that, is that the case?
Sure.
Okay.
So just so we're clear, from here on out, we get 150 miles per day of basically instant travel.
About right, yeah. Let's see. It's not exactly teleportation.
Right, but
It just seems that you're moving very fast. It kind of bamped in. It wasn't like light speed or anything. Where am I here? Okay.
I don't know.
No, my map's not showing on the other one.
Do we have a token for the spaceship? That'd be cool.
We don't. But for now, we're going to use Lazarus as a token for the spaceship. The spaceship.
It's traveling through space.
Okay. So do you see the half cut? The Jetherite Way goes through the half cut hills. It's not just that small portion there. It's the whole ring around the lower portion of the Illuminous Mountains. So do you see that there? Your presumptions on its location are kind of in this alcove here, somewhere around kind of this area. Oh. What the heck?
I'm not seeing any tokens or anything.
You shouldn't see any tokens.
Oh, okay.
Should just see a map.
Half-cut hills are just to the right of center.
Got him.
Yeah, so like right around here is where you're thinking. Somewhere in one of these 6 hexes. Basically. With that being said, the closest location that is of any kind of civilization is the city of Jether, which Fomsy and Isaac being, well, no, not Isaac, you're not from here. Fomsy, you would know from history, about 20 years ago, a little less than 20 years ago, that city was sacked by that frost giant I mentioned earlier, but it was retaken and is now the it's ruled over by a lord and a knight general. The knight general's name is the same as the knight we spoke about earlier, Hawk. And to your knowledge, he doesn't have a surname.
Okay. Are we going directly there, or trying to find the runes then, or
Well,
do we need to stop by tomb first?
again, I don't know.
Just share this with everybody.
I don't know what you guys are doing. There was mention of trying to figure out more information. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah, that was more to the group, man.
Shutting up.
I mean, and more information just to help narrow down the location. But if we can just hover over it and start looking, let's just do that.
Okay,
Yeah, we
we're gonna
got-
try that
Take
first.
days.
We got some telescope things on board. We can all
Periscope.
start periscopes. You know, can we start leaning over the edge with some periscopes? Just be like, oh, is that a ruin? Yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm looking for. Like, I'm probably just leaning over the edge, like trying to look at something, trying to find something that looks like it might be a ruin, I guess. But depending on how high up we might,
We've certainly
look
slowed
like
down to
nothing.
like a cruising speed by now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isaac.
absolutely. I'll be up on the deck, sort of
Commune
at
with
the
the
bow.
engine. Have the engine read the wind.
You guys are trying to kind of scope out from above to see if you can't find anything below. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, obviously you're a few hundred feet in the air because going any lower than that threshold will make the ship explode. You're looking around. If you're doing so, there are no periscopes on board that you can find. There is, however, a means of far looking for Lazarus. He can kind of see the world slightly differently through the elemental weirds positioning. She won't be able to help you find anything very well, but you can definitely see things a bit differently there than you would out on the ship, looking over and trying to find stuff below, whereas you're just seeing kind of a gridding of it. If you are looking over the edge of the ship, you can make a either intelligence investigation check or a wisdom perception check. But if you are doing so without the help of a periscope or any kind of magnification, you're doing so with disadvantage. If you are assisting someone else in doing it and working together, you can form pairs and roll without disadvantage, just
Does
regular.
the ship give me advantage?
The ship will give
anybody
you
else have-
advantage.
Okay. So here's
Perception.
my roll. 16.
I could do perception.
Somebody
I
somebody
guess
team
it's-
up with me and I've got a 20.
I guess it makes sense for me to team up with Ethel, and I'll let her just possess my eyes, I suppose, or however I would help her.
Yeah, nobody likes John, so nobody teams up with him. Bomsy and Dink, they
yeah.
team up together.
22.
Give me Fonzie your.
20.
Nice.
Okay.
You can't even see over the rail.
I'm under the rail. You
So,
go to hell.
Ithel, you managed to spot out as you guys are passing over the half cut, kind of close to the low point, the connecting hills to the mountain range there, the Illuminous Mountains. You do see a hill kind of set in the bowl of two other larger hills. This is a very small hill, but settled on top of that hill, there appears to be a broken up old temple building. The roof is shattered, there's stone bits all about, and from what you can see, it does look like there is a dragon looking shape kind of present in the center hall of this ruined shrine. Dink, you see it as well. And you both are basically about to exclaim, "Ah!" as she has to pop out of the sword, and you have to get out of your positioning underneath the railing hanging off the side of the ship.
I'm dangerously hanging off of there.
You tied your belt off to the rail there.
Yeah.
You pop up, and you see that, for certain, there is a hill there. Easily traversable, too.
Do I see a
Nice.
safe landing zone for our away craft?
Yeah, there is a patch of land that will the ship could land on.
Is it what kind of travel time would I imagine from that to our destination?
You could dead drop to it. It's, I mean,
Oh, okay.
Or I mean, you could linger above it, or you could, move in from the side. But either way, what I'm saying is it's a pretty flat.
It'll get us right next to it.
There's a flat patch of grass right in front of the steps.
Okay.
Ithel dead drop. She just steps off the ship and starts going downwards. She's dead.
All of Ethel's drops are dead drops.
How far away from the sword
Ew.
can you get before it like pulls you back?
Oh shit, 100 feet.
He's like,
Never mind.
"Whoop."
It's like a fishing line.
So, are you taking the method of driving the movable ship and coming in from a distance, an angle, or are you just dropping one of the landing pods down?
Movable ship.
You immediately come to the conclusion that not a single one of you that are not Lazarus can pilot that ship. Bombsy can give it a go with an Arcana check, but because of your size,
Lazarus can just drive it.
yeah, okay. If you're not leaving him behind, just making sure that's not the case. All right. So everybody on board the ship, and you guys are heading down, right?
We don't. Before we get off, we don't know how long we're gonna be gone. Do you want to turn the ship invisible before we get off? So at least we'll have an hour of people not
can't.
trying to.
We fast traveled.
Oh, we fast traveled too many times.
Yeah.
Rats. All right. Well, I hope no one tries to steal our ship.
No, just talk to it and lock it. You're the active captain. You can lock the ship out.
Yeah, hit the beep boop.
No, I mean it wasn't locked out when we got here, or got.
Yeah,
on
because
it.
we killed the captain while we were on it.
Yeah, but it doesn't. I'm telling you, our initial conversation doesn't seem like she has any type of loyalty to anyone, nor would it be obtainable. Because that was like the first thing I tried to get at when we like got on the ship was like,
Ask her. She favored you. You're a real
are you
wizard.
gonna betray me? Like,
So to save ourselves a conversation we already had, Kevin exactly right, Jeremy exactly wrong. She really has no loyalty to anything. She's as chaotic and as
it's
wild
just
as the wind.
willing to serve, and whoever's in control of the mass, that okay, oh cool, we're doing what you want to do. And
Great.
that's
So
it.
as long as no wizards come along, I guess we're good.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
Poor
John,
John has a
Well, either way,
John
we've
the
got
price
this
action.
week away
No
ship.
wizard just walks up out of nowhere and steals our fucking boat.
Did either of the
Because
wizards
it
know
happened
the?
before.
Either of you know
Damn,
alarm?
Fucking keys in the
you,
boat.
you could cast a spell alarm around the orrery, and then you would know if somebody is present there and someone's trying to take your ship.
Guys, I want to believe that me and Illuminad Naskell have a really good relationship, but
You're
it just
wrong. She a hoe.
she doesn't care about me.
She's such a fucking hoe.
That's toxic, man.
He's a thought.
I know. I need to put this to rest, but I just can't.
You get out of there.
Wait.
Okay, so real quick, are you doing anything to like? Do you have the ritual alarm?
Negative.
Okay, I was gonna say you could try that. But if you don't
The
have
best
it,
I could do is like leave a familiar behind, but that's got range, so
yeah.
I can't.
Okay, you get on board the ship, and head down. The craft lands. I'm gonna go ahead and move you to the map. I'm gonna try to anyway. Here we go. To the map change.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so you land really close to the temple, as you can see. The patch of grass behind you kind of extends maybe 5 to 10 feet behind where the ship's end would be. So you're literally landing on the exact amount of grass that is required for the ship to be landed. The back end of the temple, so the west side of it as you're looking at it, is actually the north side. With that said, you guys are about maybe 5 feet, 10 feet off the ground. The bottom, the best way down are these small little ramps off to the sides here. How would you like to proceed?
What
How
kind
is
of a
this
drop?
ship controlled?
Yeah, go ahead.
How is this ship controlled? The red piece that he's standing on is actually a minor orrery, and he speaks to the elemental who is bound to this ship, which is a smaller version. It's basically a smaller version of the greater one.
Is there a way we can physically lock this one out?
No,
Since he can't do it by magic?
not really.
We gotta do upgrades to our ship, guys.
We
This is
gotta
ridiculous.
put the
Got that
clamshell.
under control, man, don't
The
worry.
club.
The
I'll
clamshell
think about
club, yeah, block it out. Okay.
Have remote access. They're gonna be like miles away. Like, shit, I need you. Launch the barrage.
Get your shit together, wizard. Let's go.
Yeah, you see the temple and shrine as you see it.
I see just black screen.
Oh, is everybody in the same department?
No, I can see my sight lines.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see stuff.
It's well, you inside the sword. Is that the problem?
I have no idea. Oh, now.
Open your eyes.
Oh, I see it now.
Yep.
Super.
I'm gonna slide off the ship and take point and start looking for traps.
Okay. So you start looking around, seeking. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
$26.
It's really good. Looking at the this. Bear with me here for a second. You're kind of looking towards the statue. From where you're at, you're not really getting too much. But before you kind of investigate it, what you notice is the ground here is disturbed. There does appear to be kind of something present. The area seems to be very chilly, especially considering you were a few hundred feet in the air and it wasn't as cold as it is here as it is present there. And basically from somewhere that you didn't see, that looked like it was covered from above, but now you're realizing is serving as kind of a den. Just over this way, you see a very large figure start to come out of the wall. As it approaches, you realize that it is lupine, white, and it appears to be breathing frosty cold air from its mouth. And that is where we'll end the session for
Oh, it's my
today.
sword.
Oh, it's glowing.
Yeah, I show that to everybody.
What's
oh
the-
lord,
what's-
he's
what's-
coming.
What's the range on that, by
Lazarus,
the way?
start the ship.
60 feet.
Yeah, so it would have just entered in when it was coming
Just
in.
nope the fuck
Ditch
out of
this
there.
nerd.
Just
Yeah.
a winter wolf. We can take
Basically,
it.
it would have came.
No, it's funnier.
When it got to that point, it would have started glowing. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream. Thanks for watching if you watched, and see us next week. All right, stream stop.